Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. Giga-Texas is getting a brand new wastewater interceptor and Caisson system installed, and you can see some of the major construction sites with these arrows. This bodes well for future construction and expansion of Giga-Texas. Here's an overall look at where this is located. You can see the caissons, the water lines, the Sandhill Energy Plant on the south side of the Colorado River, and the existing wastewater treatment plant. I would like to thank Desi Doolin for his help in researching this information. So let's start with the permit filed with the City of Austin. Here's the permit or case number and the title, Giga-Texas Offsite Wastewater Interceptor System. Now, there are concerns as Giga-Texas continues to grow and expand on the west side of the main highway that they will not be able to feasibly route the generated wastewater through that existing wastewater system, which is located on the east side of the highway near the flagpoles, actually on the west side of General Assembly, and it runs to the south. This system has actually had several problems over the last several years. We have seen a lot of maintenance, rework, and some additional things that have been done to try to mitigate some of the problems that they've had with the overall waste management system. And because of the future growth, they really needed to address that, and now we are seeing a gigantic wastewater system being added to manage both sides of the highway. Now, throughout this discussion, I'll be using official documentation with the links at the bottom of the screen and in the video description if you would like more information. But here's kind of an overall view of what the objectives are for this new wastewater interceptor system. It's going to be up to 4 shafts of approximately 40 feet or 12 meters deep. There's going to be drains between the shafts, and they'll be constructed by micro tunneling or mini tunnel boring machines or pipe jacking. The Sandhill Energy Plant natural gas pipeline installation gives us some additional documentation, which I will be using. There'll be 2 large shafts under the construction near the South Bridge, and there'll be one on the south side of the Colorado River as well. And these will be all connected together with 60-inch pipes. And then ultimately, this will work its way over to the existing wastewater treatment plant on the south side of the Colorado River. Now, I know that these are difficult to kind of observe, but this is some of the documentation and overall maps that I've got from the Sandhill Energy Plant natural gas pipeline installation, and it shows where this wastewater interceptor plant will be and some of the pipelines that are going to connect to the wastewater system. And you can get a better idea here. I know it's a very busy slide. I did a lot more in depth about this entire project on my 21 August video, but for here, I just wanted to show you that this project has been well known and has been incorporated with a number of other projects around the area as well recently. So here's some illustrations of what a interceptor system is and a few pieces of information about how it works. Essentially, it's the backbone of the waste management system, and it's a sewer that basically is a large diameter pipe. It collects from multiple different sources, acts kind of like a highway for the sewage, and it will transport it from where it is collected all the way down to a waste treatment plant. And these illustrations give you kind of an idea of what that is like. Now, sometimes it is put out into, say, a river or a water body, but in this case, they're using these large caissons that we'll be talking about to collect it and then route it over to the water treatment plant. Here's some of the key functions of what the wastewater intercept system is meant to do. And there's 2 main types, a gravity flow and a force main. I'm not sure exactly which one is being employed here at Giga-Texas. It's most likely a gravity flow interceptor sewer, but that'll be something that I continue to monitor over time as construction continues. For Giga-Texas, there's 4 main construction projects underway, and let's go through each of them for context. Number 1 is on the west side of the South Bridge, and it's got a large caisson. It'll take the wastewater from the drain northwards. It also will have a connection to the smaller caisson on the east side of the South Bridge, and then this will also connect to another caisson on the south side of the Colorado River. Project number 2 is as shown here on the south side of the Colorado River by this illustration. It will have a drain that will come from the project number 1 caisson under the river with a micro tunnel boring machine. It will collect the waste here and then have another micro boring machine tunnel drilled underneath the highway, ultimately connecting to the existing water treatment plant. The third project is the smaller caisson on the east side of the South Bridge as shown, and this will have a drain over towards that west larger caisson, and also it will extend all the way up to another location by the flagpoles. And this will be a drain for most likely treated sewage coming from the existing water treatment system, but it's also providing additional capacity to help mitigate some of the problems they've been having with that system. And finally, project number 4 is up by the flagpoles as indicated by this illustration. This drain will be basically for treated or existing sanitary sewer, and that system is just to the north of the flagpoles as indicated by the arrow. And this will help increase its capacity and mitigate some of the problems that they've had over the last few years. In addition, this shaft will be able to allow that drain tunneling machine to be extracted once that work is completed. So returning to the bird's eye view, this is what the entire system will look like. The blue dashed lines are 60-inch, 1.5 meter pipes that will connect all the various caissons together. And then the purple hashed line is the 36-inch or about 0.7 meter pipe that will connect over to the existing wastewater treatment plant as shown. And finally, I just wanted to cover what a sinking caisson is, since that is being used for this system. It's essentially an underground concrete structure that is constructed in such a way that it sinks into the ground as it is built. This short video clip gives you an idea of what that would be like and what we are seeing right now on those caissons being constructed. As you pay attention here to this short video, you see it sinking into the ground. They add another layer. They do some excavation inside. It sinks down again, and they continue that process until they get to that specific depth that they're looking for. Here at Giga-Texas, it's about 40 feet, about 12 meters or so is the objective. And this gives you an idea with all of the various parts and pieces of how that works. And I'll let you pause the screen here to get a better view of this. There's also the link at the bottom of the description if you'd like more information. So there you have it. What is going on here at Giga-Texas is really big news for future expansion and construction. This wastewater system will also help mitigate some of the problems that they've had up to this point. And in addition to that, give you some details about how it's being constructed and what we can look forward to in the future. So I hope that you found this review helpful and informative and puts into context what we are seeing. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning from the north side of Giga-Texas today, and we're going to start off here at the old batch plant, which is getting a little bit of a makeover. We have a lot of concrete apron that has been poured. We're getting some barriers delivered today to put around the perimeter. The catch basin, which is a lined pond, looks like that is coming along, and of course, where I think they're going to have the truck washouts, and that is what they are constructing here. And that will indicate that this batch plant is going to be used and upgraded for some time, and a lot of other activity that is going on. This is a close-up view of that mobile batch plant itself and how it looks today. You can tell the apron is going all the way around that section, and that'll definitely help with cutting down with mud and other issues with a more temporary setup. So that is pretty cool to see. In addition to that, it looks like there is some paving that is going on here at the south end, in addition to putting those blocks along the perimeter. So interesting to tell what is going on here. And I will continue to monitor the other batch plants to see if that is being shut down. The electrical switchyard is getting a lot of work today on the south end, around where that third large transformer was installed. We also see some crews doing some work around the A-frames today. And of course, the connections that are being made here near the control trailers and those kind of red items that with the man lift and what they're working on there. And they have the vault opened up, so they're doing some work underneath those control trailers on the right today too. Also on this clearing, in addition to some of the excavation on the north end at the bottom right of the screen, we see that the kind of pile caps and now the steel beams are being attached on top of the pile caps, and those screw type piles have been installed, and you can see some of them sticking up out of the ground. Of course, the pile caps and how much of the steel has been added and welded onto the tops. On this end, we see the trenching, which is going to be for underground conduit, most likely, and that is going around the perimeter and through the middle, and a new trench being dug right now today. And so we'll continue to watch as the switchyard expansion continues. Nice view across the East Warehouse on Wheels, the Tesla Road extension to the east towards the die shop and the battery cathode plant, and more of the earthwork that is being done here next to this lined pond. And I think that one that we saw over at the old batch plant is going to replace this one as they close down some of this operations. The berm work to widen it to the west from the die shop continues today, where you can see those kind of broken up stones, those are called riprap, around some of the entrances to the underground stormwater management system. And then as I bring the drone down lower, this gives you a kind of a better perspective of how much of the grade is being removed on the berm on the left-hand side of the screen, while on the right, the rebar is all stacked, waiting to be installed in that new slab inside the die shop. And the earthwork is continuing, and they are transporting quite a lot of dirt away from here up towards the north area, and it looks like they're using it to fill in this depression. Now, this is where they used to have a lot of the excess concrete that was generated from the plant in the early days. And there was also a pond in that section. And of course, it looks like all that is being used to fill that in on the right-hand side of the screen. Nice look over all of the complex here with the cathode plant on the left and the die shop in the background and the work on the west side. A lot of the Model Ys lined up along this edge of the building today. And they are all the old Model Ys, so I do not see any of the new ones up here anyway. As we cross over the Wade Pit towards the crash test facility, it looks like there is some activity going on the inside. We can see just through that open curtain on the north side, but otherwise not really too much more going on here on this side of the site. The trenches on the south end have been all filled in, as you can tell, and some asphalt placed on top of where some of the underground stormwater pipe has been installed. So let's proceed back to the northeast corner of the building, and we'll resume on that part of the site. Good look into the melt plant and that furnace loading machine, and some of the items that are on the ground still waiting for installation through that section. The baghouse filtration plant assembly is still coming along with some of the plastic wrapped items on the ground floor, and also the rack mounts for all of the castings along this area as well. It's really hard to tell what vehicle they're for, and I'll see if there's any noticeable differences, if at all, over the time that the Model Y, the new one, continues its production. But I'm going to turn back, fly up over the power lines, and we're going to take a look at the electrical cable that is being installed along the parapet wall, and where these connections are at the bottom of the screen. Looks like those are still waiting to be connected, but otherwise the cables run along the entire parapet wall up to here, and then they enter into the building with those four kind of the down pipes, and then they'll exit on the ground. And that is what we're seeing here with the open vaults, where a lot of the cables are being either connected or some other work that's being done associated with those cable managements. And you can see the conduit with the cables in those vaults. And all of that, again, is for the Cortex data center on the south end of the factory. As we fly along the north end of the paint shop, I did notice some of the bumper carriers that are used on the left-hand side of the screen for the paint, and they appear to be the old bumper, so I do not see any of the new Model Y, at least those paint holders yet, but that'll be something that I'll continue to watch as that production continues to increase here at Giga-Texas. Bring the drone up over the roof, the ventilation system of the 4680 cell portion of the factory. I wanted to look at the repairs on the roof. See these lines where they've fixed many of the seams and reattached the weatherproof membrane, and just some of the other detail work. It looks like that one large section in the middle still needs to have the repairs, and then the rest of the bricks that were holding that membrane down can be removed. This new entrance on the west side has not really had much work in the last several weeks. It's got all the concrete poured and the ramps and the stairs, but not the landscaping yet. Now, over on this part of the site, I'll maneuver over the road and take a look down here where all the trees are. This is that original sewer system that has had so many problems over the last couple of years. And it looks like this is going to be rectified by one of those caissons and that new water system that we talked about in the beginning of the video. And I'll show you where that's going to be done over by the flagpoles in a moment. Here, I wanted to get a close-in look through these three new receiving doors. The load levelers have still not been installed. We see the plastic on the inside, and behind that plastic and where that metal ramp is the exit point for the Model Ys currently. And the ones that are lining up here, and all the ones that I saw driving over towards the outbound lot today, were the original version of the Model Ys, not the new Model Ys, which are in production, but they're still doing some testing on the production lines. Now, where all these vehicles are in the fenced-in section is where I think there's going to be that caisson, and that's where the boring machine for those mini diameter bores will be extricated from the site, and then it will connect into that sewage system that I just mentioned, and it will flow all the way down to the south to the smaller of the large caissons, and we'll see that here later in the video. So I'm going to fly up over the roof and we'll take a look at the east side parking lot, specifically the old testing and calibration lot where we see the superchargers. That covered tent next to that last supercharger in the center of the screen is still there. I haven't seen any activity, at least while I've been flying, to be able to identify what it is being used for. We can also see that other than the employee vehicles that are taking advantage of charging in the lot, there are no new vehicles, no Cybertrucks on that other section. So that is somewhat notable at this point in time as they continue to do the ramp of the new Model Y with the old Model Y, and the Cybertruck line is temporarily dedicating most of the people, or a lot of the people, over to the Model Y lines, although there are Cybertrucks being built. And as I pull away, let's get a nice view here farther to the east, the recycle plant on the bottom of the screen and how that looks today. And as I bring the drone up to a higher altitude and we'll turn back towards the main factory, a couple of things of note: the ground at the bottom center of the screen with some of those items. It looks like there's been some recent changes, but also this roadway that is going through the trees, which will eventually be River Road and improve more than this. It is much more visible, especially with all the trees without all of the leaves on them right now. So that'll be something later this year we'll see if that road construction continues. The east side of the multi-level parking garage still has this privacy fence, and a nice look here over where River Road is being extended. I did notice on the roof of the garage we have more of the testing going on. In this case, it's a Model Y with LiDAR on the roof racks. And we've seen training being done here with those cones. So apparently they're still collecting additional data. The LiDAR is used for kind of ground truth testing to validate what they're seeing. Now I'm going to zoom in here. We have a Cybercab driving along the roadway, and today it does have a follow car. And we saw in the past couple of videos that There were no follow cars, but today there is. I'm not sure what that signifies, but it is something to note. As we get to the chiller plant, or at least the cooling plant, all the ground level work on the earthwork and pipes near there is pretty visible, and also the extent of the glass on that southeast side. They're still preparing that one last section on the east side for the glass, and that detail work with the mounts is continuing. As I continue to fly towards the south end of the factory and give you a nice overall view of this part of the windows and the line, we can see that the window that had been broken has been replaced, and I'll give you a closer view of that here momentarily. As I get closer, this is just a nice view of the glass on that southeast corner and how this section looks. The 3 terraced section, still waiting for the asphalt on the top for that roadway. This is a nice overall view how this section looks. And as I mentioned, the glass panel that had shattered, and it looks like it was probably because of temperature issue with a material problem with the glass, has been replaced. And you can see that new panel with the blue tape around it. That was just replaced within the last 24 hours. As I continue to move away around the southwest corner, I did notice a couple of big developments here. One is all of the glass that is in the wooden crates has been removed here, and that is neat to see. We also see these large trucks with these white wrapped items being delivered today. This is all most likely going to be lifted up into the 3rd floor on that temporary platform. And I don't know exactly what they are, but with the size of the trucks, it gives you an idea of scale. We also see another window pane being replaced. This has been in the works for quite some time, but you can tell that they have that counterbalanced yellow jig with the suction cups and the glass panel getting ready to be picked up. And of course, they're continuing to do the white stain. That's why all the glass has the plastic on it. And more of the earthwork at that old exit point for the Cybertrucks, and more deliveries here have just been made up to the top of that temporary platform. And we do see some more Cybertrucks in the bottom right of the screen in that holding area. On the roof, these are the Unirack mounts that are being positioned potentially for more of the solar panels, and we may see solar panel installation resuming later this year. I'm going to reposition back to this smaller of the 2 caissons on this end of the factory. This is where the section that we talked about by the flagpoles will eventually connect in, and this will help with that revamp of the sewage system that we talked about in the intro. And here's a nice look at that sink type caisson as it continues to be built and sink into the ground. And this is the larger one doing the exact same thing. And it looks like they are preparing it to sink a little farther down into the ground. And because of the position of the crane, I can't quite show you down into the middle, but what they are hoisting up is a bucket full of more of that dirt. And as we talked about in the intro, as it sinks down, they will excavate that dirt, take it out, and that will help it to continue to sink to the desired depth. And so that work is going on right now. Of course, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the other caisson. And with the intro, you have a pretty good idea of how all those are going to be connected very soon. So while we're here, I'm going to fly over the south part of the Colorado River. I want to show you where under the river small mini bore tunnel will go, and it will connect into this section here with all the gravel. And most likely we'll see another caisson, and then the drain line will go along the Falwell Road, which is just to the south of the Colorado River, all the way over to the water treatment plant, which you can see in the upper right of the screen, just behind the vapors coming off of the Sandhill Energy Plant. So hopefully what we talked about in the intro and what I'm showing you here brings it all together of how it is being developed. So let's fly back up past the Caisson installation, and we'll take a look at the rest of the west site today. Just before I was able to get the drone in the air, I noticed a lot of Cybertrucks exiting the tunnel again. This time they all had their lights on. I think it would have been a great video clip, but I was just about 3 minutes too late. It does look like some workers are taking a look at that electrical cabinet and discussing some other things that they may be putting in here, potentially some traffic control, as some viewers have noticed that that is a need with the design and the outlet of that tunnel. As we continue to fly towards the north and the end-of-line facility, we can see all the employee cars being parked in that new parking lot, how active the superchargers are, and the canopies that cover up over them. I'm continuing to look to see if I can find any of the new Model Ys, but everything that I see driving around, being tested, stored in the outbound lot, and the lines of cars coming from the factory on the roads have been all the current iteration of the Model Ys. So I know that they're making them, they're just not coming out of the factory quite yet, at least from what I can tell. This is a nice overall look, though, of what the outbound lot looks like today, the mix of the vehicles, and just what that current situation or status is. It looks like more of the Model Ys are being prepared for delivery on that south part of the outbound lot. We do see the test track being very busy today, and in addition to that, more of the current generation Model Ys being stockpiled here. And again, I'm trying to see if I can find any of the new ones, but today I did not physically see any myself. Now, if you happen to see any in the video that I may have missed, let me know in the comment section. But this is a kind of a nice way to end the video today. The north end of the end-of-line facility. The flags flying at half-mast for the last time today. That is because of President Jimmy Carter's passing away. Tomorrow they should be at full staff, so I'll be watching for that. So anyway, that's how Giga-Texas looks today. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great week. Take care.